The doors of the Cedar Falls Sheriff's Department slam open with a thunderous crash. A massive German shepherd stumbles inside, his golden fur matted with dirt and blood, his sides heaving with exhaustion. Strapped to his back with torn strips of fabric is the motionless body of a little girl. Deputy Larson freezes mid-step, his coffee cup slipping from his fingers. Jesus Christ, he breathes as he recognizes 8-year-old Harper Mitchell, missing for 3 agonizing days. The dog, Rex, collapses onto the linoleum, his amber eyes still locked on the child he carried through hell to bring home. Rex's body trembles violently as he hits the floor, his paws leaving bloody smears across the tiles. Sheriff Benjamin Hayes rushes forward, his hand hovering over Harper's pale wrist. The dog lets out a weak but warning growl, baring teeth despite being moments from collapse. "Easy boy," Hayes murmurs, his eyes darting between the dying dog and the unconscious girl. Paramedics swarm in, but Rex won't let them near Harper until Agent Casey Reynolds kneels beside him. "We've got her now," she promises, and only then does the dog's head finally drop to the floor. Close up on Harper Mitchell, her blonde hair tangled with leaves, her pink jacket stained with mud and something darker. A jagged cut traces her hairline, her breathing shallow but steady. Rex's chest rises and falls in ragged bursts, his body a map of wounds, claw marks, bullet grazes, and paws shredded raw from miles of running. Agent Reynolds carefully examines the makeshift harness binding child to dog. This wasn't just carrying her, she realizes aloud. He was protecting her. Like armor. The sheriff's radio crackles to life. "We've got an ID on the scent trail. It leads to Blackwood Forest." Flashback. Moonlight filters through the dense pines of Blackwood Forest as Rex drags himself uphill, Harper's limp form secured to his back with strips torn from her jacket. His tongue lolls from exhaustion, but he pushes forward, past the creek where he lost their pursuers, through the brambles that scored his flanks. Suddenly, Harper stirs, her tiny fingers twitching against his fur. "Rex," she whimpers. The dog whines softly, increasing his pace as gunshots echo in the distance. "He's got to get her home," he promised. Agent Reynolds studies Rex's microchip data on her laptop. "Says here he washed out of K-9 training," she remarks. "Too aggressive." Sheriff Hayes scoffs as Rex suddenly jerks upright, his nose quivering. Before anyone can react, the dog is at the door, barking sharply. "He's got a scent," Hayes realizes. Reynolds shakes her head. "That's impossible. We're 20 miles from where dash," but Rex interrupts with an ear-splitting howl, his claws scrabbling at the exit. The message is clear: follow or get left behind. 3 days earlier, Jake Mitchell watches his daughter skip towards Cedar Falls Elementary, her backpack bouncing. "Love you, Daddy," Harper calls over her shoulder. 3 o'clock sharp, Jake promises, already distracted by his phone. But when he returns at pickup time, the playground sits empty. The school secretary frowns at her computer. "Your brother signed her out at 2:45. Family emergency?" Jake's blood turns to ice. "I don't have a brother." Across town, Rex paces the Mitchell kitchen, whining at the back door. He knows something's wrong. Terribly wrong. Security footage shows Harper waving goodbye to Rex through the truck window before heading toward school. Minutes later, a woman in a white lab coat approaches, her ID badge glinting. "Harper Mitchell? Your father sent me. There's been an accident." Harper hesitates, glancing back toward where Rex now barks frantically in the parking lot. "It's okay," the woman soothes. "Dr. Cross from the animal hospital? Rex knows me." As Harper steps closer, the van door slides open behind her. The last thing the camera captures is her small hand reaching back toward her dog as she's pulled inside. Mrs. Whitmore's hands shake as she flips through her attendance book. "Harper?" "Yes." She left with her aunt around 2:30. Sheriff Hayes leans in. Harper doesn't have an aunt. The teacher's eyes dart to a sticky note on her desk. A phone number with the initials VC. "Dr. Cross volunteers with our reading program." She offers too quickly. Hayes's radio crackles. "Sheriff, we just found Harper's backpack near Miller's Creek. There's blood on it." The color drains from Mrs. Whitmore's face. She knows more than she's saying. Jake stumbles through the woods behind his house, flashlight beam bouncing off the trees. "Harper." His voice breaks on her name. Nearby, Rex strains against his leash, pulling insistently toward the dense thicket locals call the Hollows. "Damn it, Rex, not now." Jake yanks the dog back. That night, locked in the laundry room, Rex's howls shake the windows. At 3:17 a.m., the sound of shattering glass wakes Jake. He finds the laundry room window broken outward, and no sign of the dog. Only bloody paw prints leading into the darkness. Rex's claws scrape desperately at the locked study door, Sarah's old office, untouched since her murder 2 years prior. Jake stumbles in, whiskey on his breath. "Stop it," he shouts, shoving the dog away. A bottle shatters, the sharp scent of bourbon flooding the room. Rex recoils, but not from the alcohol. It's the other smell underneath. That same cloying cologne from the night Sarah died. The dog's growl turns feral. He knows now. Harper's kidnapper isn't a stranger. He's the same man who killed Sarah. And Rex is the only one who can prove it. Rex barrels through the underbrush, his nose never leaving the ground as Agent Reynolds and Sheriff Hayes struggle to keep up. The German Shepherd skids to a stop at Miller's Creek, pawing frantically at the water's edge. There, half buried in the mud, glints Harper's butterfly hairclip and a man's gold cufflink engraved with a single initial, B. Reynolds' breath catches. "Blackwood," she whispers. The pieces click into place. This wasn't just a kidnapping. It was revenge. The search team spreads out along the creek bank as Rex zeroes in on a tattered blue backpack. Inside, they find Harper's smashed lunchbox, a mud-caked stuffed bear, and Amelia Mitchell's locket, the one she was wearing the night she died. Rex whines, nudging the locket with his nose until it springs open. Tucked inside isn't a photo, but a micro SD card. "Well, I'll be damned," Hayes mutters as Reynolds pries it free. That dog didn't just find evidence. He completed his late owner's mission. Dr. Caleb Shaw's usually steady hands tremble as he examines Rex's injuries. "These claw marks, they're not from the woods," he murmurs, showing Reynolds the distinct pattern. "These are dog bites. From another German Shepherd." The color drains from his face when he recognizes the wound pattern. It matches the training dogs at Blackwood's private kennel. Caleb's voice drops to a whisper. Vanessa Cross approved those dogs' training regiments. The vet isn't just scared. He's guilty. Agent Reynolds reaches to check Rex's collar, and the dog whirls with a vicious snarl, teeth bared. "Whoa, easy boy," Hayes yells, but Reynolds freezes. She's seen this behavior before, and K9's trained to protect sensitive materials. Her fingers carefully probe the collar's stitching and find a hidden compartment. Inside lies a watertight capsule containing coordinates. Rex wasn't just bringing Harper home. He was delivering a message from beyond the grave from Amelia. Flashback to the bunker. Harper's tiny fingers curl through the ventilation grate to touch Rex's muzzle. "He hurt Mommy," she whimpers, her breath fogging the cold metal. The dog's ears prick at the distant sound of boots on concrete. Harper's next words send ice through Rex's veins. "He smells like oranges." The same cloying citrus cologne that clung to Sarah's killer. Rex's growl vibrates through the floor as the realization hits. Harper's kidnapper and Sarah's murderer are the same man. Moonlight reveals the rusted hatch where Rex finally tracked Harper's scent. The dog squeezes through the narrow opening, landing silently in a concrete corridor lined with cells. Through the bars of the last cell, Harper's tear-streaked face appears. But Rex's victory is short-lived. The sharp click of a safety being disengaged echoes behind him. A shadow steps into the doorway, his polished shoes gleaming. "Well, well," murmurs Victor Blackwood. The Mitchells' attacked dog lives up to his reputation. Harper presses against the bars as Rex positions himself between her and Blackwood. The philanthropist's charming smile never wavers as he raises his pistol. "I only need the girl alive," he says conversationally. "But you've been a nuisance since the night you ruined everything." Rex's muscles coil as Blackwood's finger tightens on the trigger. Then Harper does something unexpected. She begins singing her mother's lullaby. The distraction gives Rex the split second he needs to strike. The first guard goes down with Rex's teeth in his thigh. The second reaches for his taser, but the German Shepherd is already airborne. 85 pounds of fury slamming into the man's chest. Gunfire erupts, the bullet grazing Rex's shoulder as he drags the guard to the ground. Harper watches in awe as her protector dispatches both men without hesitation. But the real threat is still coming. The sound of reinforcements pounding down the corridor sends Rex scrambling back to Harper's cell. "Listen, Rex," Harper whispers urgently, pointing to the narrow ventilation shaft above her cell. "I can fit, but you can't." The dog whines, pressing against her legs. Harper's voice trembles, but determined. "I'll run to the big oak tree like Mommy showed me. You have to slow them down." Rex licks her face once, a silent promise, before turning to face the approaching footsteps. As Harper wriggles into the shaft, Rex positions himself in the doorway, his bloody fur bristling. He'll hold this line until his last breath. Metal screeches as Rex forces his muscular frame into the ventilation shaft after Harper, his claws scrabbling for purchase. The tight space tears at his wounds, but he pushes forward. He can't let her face the woods alone. Below them, Blackwood's men burst into the empty cell with furious shouts. Rex emerges into moonlight just in time to see Harper dart toward the tree-line, and a familiar figure step into her path. Dr. Vanessa Cross smiles warmly, her veterinary bag swinging at her side. "There you are, sweetheart," she coos, reaching for Harper's hand. Rex launches himself from the vent with a roar. Harper freezes as Dr. Cross reaches for her. That scent, oranges mixed with antiseptic, triggers a memory. You were there," Harper whispers, backing away. "When Mommy." The vet's smile vanishes. Rex explodes from the bushes, knocking Cross to the ground before she can pull the syringe from her bag. The dog's teeth close around her wrist as Harper screams for help. Distant shouts answer. Jake and the FBI team are closing in. The vet's syringe glints in the moonlight as she stabs toward Harper. Rex intercepts mid-leap, taking the needle deep in his shoulder. He barely flinches as the sedative burns through his system. With a mighty shake, he sends the syringe flying, then pins Cross down with 85 pounds of pure fury. His vision blurs, but he holds on, until Jake's pickup comes skidding into the clearing, headlights illuminating the scene. Agent Reynolds' team swarms the bunker entrance as Jake scoops Harper into his arms. Blackwood's inside. Reynolds shouts, but Rex knows better. His nose twitches at the fading scent of citrus cologne moving away from the bunker. Toward the road, the dog takes off running, ignoring Jake's shouts. The real predator isn't trapped in that hole, he's escaping. And Rex is the only one who remembers that scent from 2 years ago. Jake rounds the bend to see Rex body slam Victor Blackwood just as the philanthropist raises a pistol. The shot goes wild as man and dog tumble down the embankment. Jake takes aim, but the struggling figures make it impossible. "Rex down," Jake commands, the first order he's ever given the dog. Miraculously, Rex obeys, dropping flat just as Jake fires. Blackwood screams, clutching his leg. The German Shepherd doesn't attack again. He just stands over the wounded man and growls. As agents cuff Blackwood, the billionaire laughs through the pain. "You think this ends with me?" The Mitchell women were always too curious for their own good. Rex's ears perk at a rustling in the bushes. Too late. A shadowy figure fires 3 shots. Blackwood slumps, dead before he hits the ground. Rex gives chase, but the assassin vanishes like smoke. The message is clear. This goes deeper than anyone imagined. Back at the trauma center, Dr. Shaw works frantically as Rex's vitals crash. The sedative, blood loss, and bullet graze have pushed him too far. Harper presses her forehead to the glass, tears streaming. "He promised Mommy," she whispers. Then, a miracle. Rex's paw twitches. His chest rises, and those amber eyes open, locking onto Harper with unmistakable clarity. The job isn't done. There are still rats to hunt. Dr. Shaw emerges exhausted but smiling. He's a fighter, he tells the Mitchells. Pulled out his own 4 twice. Inside, Rex lies swathed in bandages, but his tail thumps weakly when Harper enters. She climbs carefully onto the bed, curling against his side. "Good boy," she murmurs, just like Sarah used to. For the first time since the nightmare began, Jake allows himself to hope. Maybe, just maybe, they can be a family again. Days pass with Harper reading to Rex, brushing his fur, even feeding him by hand when he's too weak to eat. Jake watches from the doorway, guilt gnawing at him. He'd dismissed this dog, locked him away, called him worthless. Yet Rex risked everything for Harper. When the dog finally stands on shaky legs, it's not to Jake he looks, but to Sarah's photo on the wall. Message received. Dr. Shaw confesses everything. How Cross manipulated him. How Blackwood's operation used the animal hospital as a front. But it's the last revelation that breaks Jake. "Sarah came to me weeks before. She suspected the vet clinic. I told her she was paranoid." Jake's knees buckle, all this time blaming the dog, when the real failure was him. Rex whines, licking Jake's hand. Even now, the dog offers forgiveness. Agent Reynolds examines Rex's collar under UV light. Hidden stitches glow, revealing a tiny compartment. Inside, a key to a safety deposit box. The box contains Sarah's final evidence, photos, documents, and a list of names that reaches into the highest levels of government. As Reynolds flips through, one page stands out, a diagram of Blackwood's entire network, with Dr. Cross at the center. Rex didn't just save Harper. He completed Sarah's mission. The team gathers around Sarah's old laptop as Reynolds inserts the flash drive. Suddenly, Sarah's face fills the screen, recorded weeks before her murder. "If you're seeing this, I'm dead," she says calmly. Victor Blackwood runs a trafficking ring through his youth centers. Dr. Cross handles the medical side, and Sheriff Hayes. The video cuts abruptly. Everyone turns to stare at the sheriff, whose face has gone sheet white. Rex's growl rumbles deep in his chest. Back at the Mitchell property, Rex paces the pond's edge despite his injuries. At Jake's command, the dog plunges into the icy water. Seconds pass, then a minute. Just as Jake starts to panic, Rex surfaces, dragging a waterproof case in his teeth. Then another, and another. 5 cases total, each filled with Sarah's meticulously organized evidence. The final piece? A signed confession from one of Blackwood's men, implicating half the town's officials. Reynolds spreads the waterlogged documents across Jake's kitchen table. Financial records show Blackwood's youth centers were fronts for something far darker. Photos reveal secret rooms beneath the buildings. But the most damning evidence? A ledger listing payments to officials, with Sheriff Hayes' name appearing repeatedly. "My God," Jake breathes. Rex nudges one last item forward. Sarah's notebook, its final entry reading, "Hayes is dirty. Told him I'd expose everything tomorrow. If anything happens to me." Sirens wail as a SWAT team breaches Blackwood's gated estate. Rex leads the charge, his nose guiding them to a hidden basement office. The room's empty except for a still-warm coffee cup and a burning shredder. On the wall hangs a map with pins marking every youth center in the state, and 3 new locations circled in red. Reynolds' phone rings. It's the governor's office. "Stand down immediately. The operation has been compromised at the highest levels." Jake stares at the evidence, realization dawning. This is why Sarah died. She uncovered the whole damn network. Rex whines, pawing at a photo they'd overlooked, Blackwood shaking hands with a senator at a fundraiser. The same senator now calling for the investigation to end. Jake makes a decision. He grabs his keys. "We're not waiting for the FBI. Rex is already at the door. If the system won't deliver justice, they'll find it themselves." The abandoned warehouse is supposed to be empty, but Rex smells them before they see the shadowy figures inside. Without warning, the German Shepherd crashes through a side window, drawing fire away as Jake and Reynolds enter. Bullets shatter glass as Rex weaves through the chaos, his movements precise despite his injuries. One gunman goes down screaming, his arm in Rex's jaws. Another turns to run, straight into Reynolds' waiting handcuffs. A crimson trail follows Rex as he limps toward the warehouse office. Inside, a man frantically burns documents. Rex recognizes the citrus cologne instantly, the same scent from Sarah's murder scene. With his last strength, the dog launches at the figure just as he reaches for a gun. They crash through the window together, falling 1 story to the concrete below. When Jake reaches them, Rex stands over the unconscious man, the governor's chief of staff. In the chaos, no one noticed Harper slip from Jake's truck. Now she stands frozen as a wounded assailant grabs her, blade glinting. Before Jake can react, a blur of golden fur tackles the man. Rex's attack isn't clean or controlled this time. It's primal fury. The knife skitters away as the dog's teeth find their mark. Harper scrambles to safety, but not before seeing the raw power of her protector unleashed. This isn't just a pet. This is vengeance incarnate. The gunshots echo like thunder. Rex staggers but doesn't fall. First hit, shoulder. Second, flank. Third, misses entirely as the dog leaps. His teeth close on the shooter's wrist with a sickening crunch. Somewhere, Jake is shouting. Harper is crying. But Rex only hears Sarah's voice from that last night. Protect them. As the shooter collapses, Rex finally allows himself to sink to the ground. Content. Promise kept. The medevac helicopter blades whip the trees as they load Rex aboard. Harper clutches his paw, refusing to let go even as the doctor warns he's fading fast. Jake presses his forehead to the dog's. You did good, boy. Then, impossibly, Rex lifts his head one last time. His howl starts soft, then builds, a primal song of victory and farewell that echoes across the valley. As the sound fades, his body goes still. The monitor flatlines. In that moment, the entire rescue team stands silent, hats removed. A hero has fallen. Dr. Caleb Shaw stands before news cameras, his hands shaking as he reads a prepared statement. Vanessa Cross manipulated medical records, used our clinic to drug children, and I looked the other way. The town reels as he names other complicit officials, the mayor, 2 school board members, even beloved Coach Wilkins. Rex's sacrifice didn't just save Harper. It exposed Cedar Falls' rotten core. Jake watches from the crowd, Harper's small hand gripping his. The German Shepherd's legacy burns brighter than ever. The town square overflows with hundreds holding candles. Sheriff Hayes, now suspended, presents a folded American flag to Harper. From one veteran to another, he chokes out. But the real moment comes when Jake steps forward with Rex's old collar. As he attaches it to the memorial statue, Harper presses a button. Rex's final howl plays through speakers, that haunting sound echoing across silent streets. Grown SWAT team members wipe their eyes. Even Agent Reynolds loses her composure. Harper stands on a stool at the memorial, unfolding yellowed stationery. "My brave girl," she reads aloud. "If you're hearing this, I'm watching over you with Rex." Her voice falters at Sarah's description of training Rex to recognize bad people smells. The letter concludes, "Remember, real heroes don't wear capes. Some have 4 paws and a heart bigger than the whole sky." The crowd erupts in sobs. Jake turns away, but not before seeing Rex's. Kneeling at Sarah's headstone, Jake places 2 items, Rex's favorite chew toy and a police commendation. "I should have believed in him like you did," he whispers. Suddenly, warm fur brushes his side. Rocky, their new rescue pup, lying exactly where Rex used to. The parallel is unmistakable. Harper joins them, placing a small wooden carving between the graves, a German shepherd with angel wings. The inscription reads, "Our guardians." Together again. Rocky tumbles across the Mitchell's yard with Harper giggling behind him. The goofy Labrador will never replace Rex. His canine vest hangs framed in their hallway, but he brings needed joy. Then Harper freezes. Rocky has dug up something by the pond, Rex's old training dummy. Jake's breath catches. The message is clear, Rex trained his successor too. As Rocky proudly carries the dummy to Harper, Sarah's wind chimes tinkle softly. Some bonds never break. The new special replays Rex's heroics, carrying Harper, finding evidence, taking bullets. But the most chilling moment? Security footage from Blackwood's bunker. As Harper escapes, Rex turns to face 6 armed men alone. The camera captures his calm stance, no hesitation, just absolute purpose. Forensic experts confirm that distraction gave Harper the 47 seconds she needed to reach safety. 47 seconds of unimaginable courage. Agent Reynolds reveals the full truth on 60 Minutes. Rex didn't just follow scents. He recognized patterns, cross-perfume, Blackwood's cufflinks, even the way Hayes tapped his badge when lying. That dog processed information like a detective, she says. The kicker? Sarah had taught Rex to associate specific scents with danger. The night she died, he memorized Blackwood's cologne and waited 2 years for revenge. The documentary shows Rex's last moments from a new angle. As medics work, the dying dog locks eyes with Jake, then deliberately nudges his nose against Harper's pocket. Inside? The USB drive everyone had missed. Rex's final gift wasn't just saving lives, it was ending the corruption. The camera zooms in on his still face, finally at peace. The theater audience sits in stunned silence. Cedar Falls unveils a bronze statue outside the rebuilt school. Rex sitting alert, Harper's hand on his head. The plaque reads, "For the protector who taught us true courage." At the ceremony, Jake surprises everyone by adopting another sheltered German shepherd, a scarred veteran like Rex. As the dog licks Harper's face, sunlight hits his collar tag. Rex Jr., the circle remains unbroken. Epilogue. 5 years later, Harper, now a canine trainer, leads a therapy dog into a children's hospital. The German shepherd pauses suddenly, sniffing the air. Harper follows his gaze to a familiar citrus scent and freezes. The camera pans to a nervous doctor adjusting his cuffs. Gold cufflinks flash. The screen cuts to black as Harper's voice whispers, "Good boy, Rex. Find. The legacy lives on."